What does it mean to have a mind like a child? Leadership books, blogs, and videos talk about having the mind of a child, but really only through the lens of curiosity. One thing I've noticed and admired consistently in my own children and grandchildren is that sense of reckless abandon. I believe, messed up my microphone. I believe it's that reckless abandon that really drives the learning process for children. It's a fascinating concept and one I think is really worth exploring. So join me as I dive headfirst into the wild world of reckless abandon. Let's see what happens when we push the limits. Hi. If you're new here, my name is Brian Brew and I have over 30 years of leadership experience, including in serving in some of the most admired units in the United States military. You know, we often think of curiosity as the defining factor of children, whether it be wanting to touch things to understand what they feel like or asking why, seemingly incessantly. Curiosity is absolutely a crucial skill for leadership. But if we focus only on curiosity, I believe that we're missing arguably the most powerful component of the childlike mind. You see, reckless abandon is what makes a child daring. When we talk about reckless abandon, we often think about the potential consequences of acting without thinking things through. And let's be real, those consequences can be severe. I mean, we've all heard stories of people who have taken unnecessary risks and ended up getting hurt or worse. When you add curiosity or wonderment to the mix, things can get even more dicey. Think about it. Curiosity can lead us to ask questions, and those questions can lead us to seek out answers, even if those answers come with a very high level of risk. For example, let's say you're curious about what happens when you mix two seemingly incompatible chemicals together. You might be tempted to try it out just to see what happens. But if you're not careful, you could end up causing a chemical reaction that puts you and others in harm's way. And that's just one example. There are countless of other ways in which reckless abandon can lead to negative consequences. Another problem with reckless abandon is that it can lead to a lack of accountability. When we act without thinking things through, we're not always prepared to deal with the fallout. And that can lead to a situation where we're not taking responsibility for our actions, and that is never a good thing. But despite these potential dangers, there's also a flip side to reckless abandon. When we're willing to take risks and push the limits, we can sometimes achieve incredible things. Think about all the great achievements throughout history. Many of them were accomplished by people who are willing to take risks and challenge the status quo. Let's take, for example, Alexander Fleming. He discovered penicillin by accident. He was a scientist who was willing to take risk and try new things. And his discovery changed the course of medical history. Or the Wright brothers, who risked their lives to build the first powered airplane. They could have played it safe and stuck with traditional modes of transportation, or their bicycle shop, but instead they chose to push the limits and see what was possible. One of the most fascinating examples of reckless abandon leading to incredible achievements is the story of Felix Baumgartner, who jumped out of a balloon 24 miles above the Earth's surface. I have been part of some questionable parachute jumps, but can you think of a more reckless decision than jumping from the edge of the Earth's atmosphere? And yet, he pulled it off, and in so doing, set a new world record for the highest skydive ever. But perhaps the most dramatic example of reckless abandon is the story of James Cameron, who built a submersible vessel and piloted it to the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the deepest point in the ocean. Can you imagine a more daring decision? And yet, he made it happen. And in doing so, he became the first person to reach the bottom of the trench solo. One of the things that strikes me about these stories is the way in which they illustrate the impact of reckless abandon. When we're willing to take risks and push the limits, we can achieve incredible things, but we also risk facing incredible consequences. And that's what makes this combination of childlike curiosity and reckless abandon so fascinating. It's a delicate balance between caution and boldness. As we've seen, combining curiosity with reckless abandon can lead to incredible achievements, but it can also lead to disastrous consequences. So what does that mean for our leadership practices? Where do we draw the line? How do we balance our desire to take risks and push the limits with our need to be cautious and responsible? In the end, I think it is all about finding that balance. We need to be willing to take risks and ask questions, but we also need to be mindful of the potential consequences of our actions. By balancing our curiosity with caution, we can achieve great things, and we can also avoid causing harm. Thanks for watching, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's your experience with combining childlike curiosity with reckless abandon? Have you ever taken a risk that paid off? Or have you ever gotten hurt because of your curiosity? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more content on personal and professional development. Until next time, remember, you are a gift to others.